Now, those are the 5 pillars. What have those 5 pillars yielded since 2017? Of course, a lot of people say, yeah, not much has happened, in the last 3.5 years. Well, okay, let's go down that rabbit hole for a minute. We have DoD admitting the 3 videos are real. They admit that the videos depict unidentified aerial vehicles. The Department of Navy creates a UAP reporting policy and guidelines and actual reporting guidelines and policies that get promulgated. DoD establishes an official UAP task force under the Deputy Secretary of Defense directly. Mainstream media takes notice and begins to actively report on these encounters. Members of Congress receive classified briefings. Members of Congress have taken lead in advocating for greater transparency. Former directors of national intelligence and CIA admit and are talking about UAPs. POTUS receives a classified briefing on at least 2 occasions. Our president of the United States, former president of the United States, publicly acknowledges the realities of UAPs, along with two former presidents of the United States publicly acknowledge the reality of UAPs. Congress mandates a 180-day report be submitted by the DoD and DNI. One of only 144 incidents in that 180-day report were resolved. Congress mandates a UAP report every 90 days. Japan requests a bilateral information sharing agreement with the U.S. China introduces the 5 Continents Initiative, and one of the largest IC collaborative virtual environments is created to analyze UAP data. Now, that's just since 2017. I would argue that probably more has been done in the last 3.5 years than in the last 3 decades.
Yep.
Now, by the way, when I say that, I'm not taking credit for it. A lot of people were part of this, okay? But that's yesterday. What about today? Well, here's what's going on today, folks. Senior academics in the U.S. are involved in the serious study of UAP phenomenon. Renowned universities in the U.S. are expressing interest in officially studying UAPs. Scientific enclaves are being created to test the physics. Scholarship programs focusing on UAP performance are being developed. Defense Intelligence University at DIA and the National Intelligence University are accepting theses on UAPs. That's remarkable that you have actually these academic institutions in our national security apparatus now accepting theses on UAPs. Data from previous U.S. projects are being consolidated under a single entity. U.S. Navy is filing patents on potential UAP propulsion technology. DoD is developing a strategic plan to study UAPs for years into the future. UAP information is being integrated into U.S. intelligence collection cycle. Certain allied nations are expressing interest in working with the U.S. government. The DoD IG is conducting an evaluation and several inquiries into DoD's handling of the UAP topic. Certain members of Congress have expressed desire for public hearings. Study of UAPs are being included into annual budget cycles, both MIP and NIP. Former senior members of the intelligence community are assisting with U.S. government efforts involving UAPs. Office of Director of National Intelligence, Office of the Secretary of Defense, Navy, Spacecom, NORAD, and other elements of the IC are actively working UAP issues and planning for state, local, and tribal authorities to integrate UAP data is underway. That is all what's happening right now behind the scenes as we speak. So if it wasn't enough, the last slide to talk about what's happened in the last 3.5 years, here's what's going on right now.
A year ago, the Pentagon officially released 3 videos that were already circulating online. The videos were from 2004 and 2015, and they showed unidentified objects on radar performing in uncharacteristic ways. The Director of National Intelligence has just declassified a 9-page report that is a preliminary assessment of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, what we all used to call UFOs. Of the 144 UAP reports between 2004 and 2021, only 1 was identified in high confidence. The other 143 are still mysterious. What did you think of the key findings of that report?
Well, I've read that report, and 2 years ago, in a classified setting in the Senate Armed Services Committee, I talked to the pilots, and they are absolutely convinced that they saw something. They locked their radar onto it, they followed it, and then all of a sudden it would move. And it had no exhaust, it had no plume, it had no visible wings or any kind of engines. So we don't know what it is, but it's something, because as you mentioned, over 140 sightings, and maybe a couple of dozen that are really very specific sightings by very credible sources. And so What is it? We don't know. NASA has a program searching for life in the universe. It's called space astrobiology. We're looking for signs of life on Mars. We're looking in the project that's going to Venus now to see is there life in that atmosphere. We also listen in the universe. We have a grant program for people listening in the universe for any kind of intelligent signal. So we don't know what this phenomenon is, but we sure need to find out.
According to the report, more, quote, scientific knowledge may be needed to understand some of the objects. The report reads, quote, we would group such objects in this category pending scientific advances that allow us to better understand them. Senator, they're saying that our science is not good enough to understand the phenomena that was observed. I know you say we don't know what it is, but what do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. I hope it's not an adversary here on Earth. Because then they have technology, if that's the case, that we do not have. But the answer to your question is, I do not know.
Do you believe there's life in another part of the universe?
I sure do, and let me tell you why. The universe is 13.5 billion years old. We're even finding now other suns that very likely have planets that we call exoplanets circulating around, and we're looking for signs of one with a habitable atmosphere that would duplicate what we have in our solar system with planet Earth. And so do I think in a universe that is so big that there is another sun in another galaxy, that sun has planets revolving around it? You bet I believe that. And very likely, if there is, the chemical composition as all those gases amassed around and form the planets, the chemical composition could produce life, and that's what we're exploring.
Does NASA have a plan, Senator, for what it would do should a UAP turn out to be a space alien?
No, but the first thing we'd want to do is to find out if it's friend or foe. But we're not to that point because we just don't know what this phenomenon is. I think with all those sightings that you referenced, there's something there. This is not an optical illusion or a radar blip that's a mistake. When you talk to those Navy pilots, they're convinced because they saw it and they tracked it.
Senator, of course, one of the possibilities is that this is a foreign adversary's advanced technology or perhaps our own advanced technology that is highly classified. What is the probability that that's what this is?
Well, I hope it's ours that is highly secret because this kind of propulsion that has no wings and doesn't have an exhaust and suddenly darts from here to there in an instant, covering a distance at speeds that are incredible. I hope it's ours, but according to our government, they're telling us it is not.
Well, then you can understand the curiosity that we're out looking for other life. We believe it's there. We have unidentified objects flying in our own airspace, but we don't have a plan for aliens?
Well, I had a wonderful plan when I watched Steven Spielberg's E.T., and he was a friendly little fella, but we just don't know. We don't know what this phenomenon is.
All right. Given what we know about the UAPs, when is the right time, Senator, for us to come up with a plan to handle intelligent life that we're looking for?
Well, we better identify it first, and once we identify it, then we'll know what to do. we don't have any idea if suddenly an alien is going to appear. This is still great speculation. But we're in the search for life out there, and this phenomenon that these Navy pilots have seen, let's find out about it. What is it? And then we can deal with it.
For all the contingency plans that the US government has on every shelf and every binder, I would think that we would be more prepared for that possible eventuality than you say that we are.
It is what it is.